Hello, YouTube. It's been a while. I've been doing a lot more shorts and Instagram style posts lately. Thanks for putting up with that. Hopefully, there's been some good stuff. But I've been listening to this podcast that I think is pertinent. I wanted to share with you. It's called Weight Loss for Busy Physicians. It's targeted at female physicians. And I admit I haven't talked to anyone who's not a female physician who's listened to it. But I think it's amazing. I think every single episode I listen to has some gem that I've never really thought of before that applies to weight loss. And I mean, personally, I had my fifth baby, and it was after COVID, and then my sister was diagnosed with cancer, and I didn't properly process that. And I let that be my excuse for just letting the scale go up and up and up for a while. And so I'm trying to correct that and change the way that I eat. And I think that this podcast has been amazing. I haven't had great results from it yet because I haven't really fully committed to it, which is fine as I'm learning. There's times in your life that are good for weight loss and times that you just need to be gentle with yourself, and there's no sense in giving yourself a hard time about that. So that's what I'm trying to practice as well, but I want to start being serious about it anytime now and see the results that I know I'm capable of. And some things that have really hit me lately are what normal eat. I mean, we have this idea of what a normal person eats and how much we wish we could eat like a normal person. And that's given what we're surrounded with here in America. Wow. I mean, that's just not normal eating. I mean, most people are overweight or obese. And it's not just because BMI is a tough way to look at your weight, but it's to some extent true. I mean, we're just tend to eat more than we need here in America. I mean, look at the serving sizes in restaurants. And then you're like, obviously, you're supposed to order an appetizer and then get your salad and then your normal meal with its sides and then get a dessert and a couple drinks. And that's, oh my gosh, that's enough calories probably for multiple days just of people to survive on. I think probably for me that would be like 2 days worth of calories in a single sitting. That's ridiculous. And I mean, I did live in Europe for 3 years and got to contrast their serving sizes with ours, and there's a huge difference. So I don't think that helps, is that we have the idea that that's normal eating, that a normal person eats that and they don't gain weight. It's just not true. It's just not how normal people eat. And if you sit down, as she points out in her podcast, is Dr. Katrina Ubell, who's been so helpful, shout out to her, that if you sit and eat with someone who's at a normal, a healthy weight, a weight where you wish you could comparably be at, and see what they eat in a normal meal, it's like half of a serving of an entree and none of that extra stuff. Or maybe just an appetizer, or maybe splitting it with someone. And that's what needs to become normal if we're going to go back to healthy weights. And I love the idea that, the whole wasting food idea, it grates on me. I don't think I was ever pressured to be part of the clean plate club growing up particularly, but you also just feel guilty that you put all this effort into this good food and you're going to throw it away. But also putting it on your body and letting it sit there as fat, that's wasting it just as much as throwing it in the trash. But at least that way I'm not hating myself for years for that extra fat. I shouldn't be hating myself for that, but this is what happens. So, I mean, composting it, saving it for leftovers, giving it to my chickens are all much better ways that are less wasteful than me eating it when I don't really need it, sometimes don't even really want it, and having it be wasted on my body. So I hope this is interesting for you too, because I've never thought of things like this way. And I love the idea. I mean, it's become popular now to do fasting. Fasting sounds like an okay thing to do, but I remember whenever someone would say they were skipping a meal, skipping lunch because they weren't hungry, something like that, that's a no-no. Like, you need to eat your 3 meals a day. But honestly, most adults really only need like 2 meals a day. I mean, I have a hard time eating a small enough meal that I can eat 3 meals a day and be a healthy weight. So I think it's easier for me to eat 2 meals a day, maybe even consider lunch like a snack, because I do enjoy sharing those meals with my family, the breakfast and the dinner, and not snacking. Snacking is not something most adults need to do. But the idea that somehow it's better if I do it as a fast, where I've fasted all night, and maybe there's some benefits to that health-wise to go for a longer time, but that isn't where I am in my life right now. And I don't need to feel guilty for skipping lunch if that works for me. If I have breakfast and dinner, that's not like an 18-hour fast because I'm eating breakfast in the middle there and ruining it. But that's still, if that leads me to where I need to be weight-wise and where I'm happy and functional and not having like a disordered eating around it, then that is a good place to be. And I don't need to feel guilty about skipping a meal. It's not unhealthy to skip a meal if I have this extra fat on my body that I can use for energy. That's what it's there for. That's what my body put it there for, and that's the way to use it, is to actually need it by not eating a meal instead. Another one that really hit me was how, I make so many little excuses that are easy to forget about, like I'm cutting up cheese for the family, just take a little nibble of that cheese because there's some extra on the cutting board, and what else am I going to do with it, honestly? But if I've already committed to myself to not snack and it's not a meal yet, that's kind of cheating. That's a little quit, as she talks about. And those little quits, you don't even necessarily even notice them over time, but in the end, it detracts from your results over time. Maybe I lose some good weight even though I had that snack of cheese, but then I get in the habit of those little cheats, those little snacks, and I convince myself, well, it's okay, I'm still losing weight. But then I'm not losing weight, but I've gotten used to all those little cheats, and I convince myself in my head that it's because the system doesn't work, that my body's broken, that I can't do this right. And that's not true. I've just forgotten about all those little quits that I allowed myself to have. So it's not so much that I need to be so strict about not snacking because that's the only way the system will work. It's because my brain works that way. Because my brain will convince myself that this isn't working when I've forgotten about all those times that I have had a little quit. And that leads to the big quit. And that's not helpful for me either. These are just so much more effective for me than calories in, calories out. That never really worked. It's a lot of work to add up all those calories, and then I'm like measuring out my food. Oh, I just don't have time for that. And then I get bogged down in the numbers, and I honestly can see how you could head down the road of disordered eating, where it's becoming an unhealthy obsession with your weight and with what you eat. And my app would even tell me sometimes, like MyFitnessPal, I don't know if you've had this experience, where it's worried about me because I had a day where I just wasn't that hungry, I was busy, so I didn't eat much, and then it's like glaring at me an alarm at the end of the day being like, you need to eat, you haven't eaten much today. And that's just not helpful to be told that I need to eat when I have days that I eat more and days that I eat less, and that's okay. It all equalizes in the end. That's kind of frustrating when I would be told that I need to eat more. That's not what I need in my head on those days. I'm feeling good and energetic, and I need to embrace it. And then one more thought for you, the value of boring food. I remember being made fun of when I would eat like an Amy's frozen burrito every single day for lunch and being like, you're going to turn into a burrito. And how silly that was. And I felt a little bit bad. I was like, but I'm losing weight. I'm a healthy weight. I feel really good. I love these burritos. They're full of vegetables. I don't have to work hard for them. I can just do this and not think. It's just one less piece of thought towards food that is required. And she points out how valuable that is. Having boring food that you have a plan to eat, that you're going to stick with, you just don't have any other options. You take the little 3-year-old part of your brain that's like, this sounds boring, I don't want to eat this, and you treat it like a 3-year-old. You say, that's nice, I'm sorry, and you eat it anyway. We all need to do that with our brains sometimes. Just treat it like the toddler that it is behaving as, and move on with life and do what's good for you anyway. So even for dinners, like having a set number of kind of easy dinners that aren't exciting, but they're nourishing. That's really what food is, right? Is fuel for your body. It doesn't have to be entertainment. It doesn't have to be the highlight of your day every day, which is a big temptation of mine. I love good food, but I also love a lot of other areas of my life, and maybe I need to emphasize those areas more and food less. Like food can be more of a special treat than I let it be. It needs to be more of a special fancy meal that sounds extra delicious once a month. Why not? And then the rest of the month is pretty boring, standard, healthy, but not exciting food. That helps me to eat less of it. I just eat until I'm full, I'm just barely full, and that's all I need. And that's true, that is all I need. And it helps me to maintain a healthier weight. So hopefully this is helpful for you. I know I'm kind of making it just to remind myself in the future of these thoughts when I get down on myself about what I should be doing. Or check out Katrina Ubell. She has a new book out based on this podcast series, I believe. I've only listened to the podcast so far, and I love them, so I'm going to be investing in that book sometime soon. And thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can find out when I release more videos, even if they're just shorts. And be sure to check out that video too, because it might be helpful for you. Thanks for watching.